Hey, hello everyone. Thank you for joining us. So today we will speak about Lebanon and Israel. We're going to speak about what's happening in Lebanon. I'm a musician and singer. Hey, hello everyone. Thank you for joining us. Okay. I'm a singer and musician, and I'm. But it's really important for me to be involved of what's going on in Israel and around of Israel. And right now, Lebanon is in a very bad situation. So we're going to speak with Carine Bassili, that she's a singer. Most of you know her, and she's a friend of mine, and she grew up in Lebanon, and she went through several of wars, and I'm really excited because uh, a part of being a singer, I used to be a fighter in the IDF. So I saw the war from the other side, and she saw from her side, and it's really interesting for me to speak with her about it. For those who don't know Karin, so she translated the song Grefana, my song Grefana, into Arabic. She said that she want to send her blessing of healing to Lebanon through the song, and it really moved me, and I decided to sing with her in Arabic too, and it was a interesting closure for the story of my grandma, that she spoke Arabic too. Um, so Karin,
Yes.
how are
Hello,
you?
everyone. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. It's good to talk to you. It's always good to talk to you. With everything, we became so close as friends, and we open up our hearts, and with everything when it comes to both countries, which is beautiful. So
Yeah, and I thank you so much, and I feel that like last time we just made it like very spontaneous, and we just felt that we want to do it, and this time for those who seen us right now, we just prepared couple of things, very interesting things about the past and the history of Lebanon and Israel, and things that really important for us to tell you. um and I think that yeah, we have the opportunity as friends, me and you, Karin, like to bring people the truth of what's going on, and how it's to feel, how is the feeling to be um, um, enemies, but
right?
we like to come from countries that call themselves enemies, but suddenly to understand that actually you can speak with these people. For me, like to speak with the people of Lebanon, and for you, I'm sure, like to speak with the people of Israel. Um, so you said that you want to start with a small history about Lebanon.
Yeah, we're what we're doing here is we're separating the problem between Israel and Lebanon. We're separating, there's political side and there's a humanitarian side, and that what we're going after is the humanitarian side, because in the end we are human and we have a heart. When see someone struggling, as Israel is seeing, Lebanon struggling, it was just it's we came coming together is just really to show the other side of Israeli people, like they care for Lebanon. No, you know what I mean? So anyway, for who don't know about Lebanon too much, as you probably all know about, Lebanon was called the Swiss of, the Middle East, the Switzerland, and it was, it was beautiful. And after they were free from France since 1943, to get their independence, and Lebanon in 1850 to 1960 was like the Dubai, like how Dubai is right now. Lebanon was that the Dubai in the Middle East, meaning like we were prosperous, we were independent financially. We had no debt. Our money was worth really good compared for the dollars. We were doing really good. Um, and the sadly part, how Lebanon wasn't there. Now Lebanon is literally the worst country in the economy that we ever seen in the last 150 years, from being the Paris of the Middle East, and then to like to sorry, I said Switzerland. I meant to say the Paris of the Middle East, the Paris of the Middle East, and to be, the worst, economy in the world right now, as the banks were saying regarding that situation. But anyway, so so the thing is, what's getting Lebanon prosperous is in 1956. We had a lawyer, Lebanese lawyer. He got an idea for prospering Lebanon through the banking system, because they have like secretive, system, and he loved that how
Can you
secret
show us pictures?
of Lebanon. Okay.
Because I when we start to prepare this event, I don't know what to call it, this live. So we spoke about it, and this is crazy. You must understand, all the people that seeing us right now, that Lebanon was a very beautiful place that people used to come and to vacations and yeah, Beirut is was like there's a lot of beach there's and like yeah, it was a free country. Yeah, people used to
Yeah,
go
it
to the
was a
beach,
free
to have any
country.
fun.
We were like we were like Paris when it comes to the fashion, Like, until today, Lebanese are very like fashion. They love fashion, they love clothes, they love to dress very nice, and we were very well known. Until today, we still have that in Lebanon, but for sure things change right now. Honestly, people cannot even buy clothes right now over there. But anyway, you can see some of the pictures here. Are you sharing, Yair?
What?
Are you sharing the pictures?
They can see. I see that they can see it. Just move.
Okay, so this is downtown. This is kind of the area in downtown, and we used to have even trains. Honestly, not on my time. I don't even remember train. I know the corruption of the government still pay for people who work in train while we don't even have trains, which is very corrupted. And here's the people. Look how example the lady in the pink. How beautifully she dressed here. I mean,
So
that even
now
can.
people can walk like this right now in Lebanon, or they still can walk
In
like
the
this, or
In the Christian areas, yes, you can, for sure. Not the Muslim area. In the Christian area, you can. I'm telling you, I was looking literally at that lady wearing her pink dress. I was like, that dress can be worn right now too easily. You know what I mean? Like it's just amazing. Like I was like, man. But here, that's another picture in color of Beirut too. Um, And even there are some pictures here that's like so cute, like how all the elderly sit like in a coffee place, and just hanging out, having their hookah. And there's just some more pictures here.
okay. So it's look like not the last picture, but the yeah, those pictures look like Europe. This is interesting. Okay, so when you think, I think that most of the people that think about Lebanon right now think about the Hezbollah, think about a lot of mass, a lot of war, a lot of children that starving, and so you said it was like totally different
No, you know
before.
what? Even people think we are a desert that we ride camels, but obviously you're seeing cars and we're not a desert.
Yeah, it's really funny. Most of the people think the same on Israel.
Yeah.
They think that it's all desert, but it's not true. There is a lot of desert in Israel, but in Lebanon there is no desert. Yeah, or there is something.
Yeah, no, we don't really have a desert in Lebanon.
Yeah.
Sometimes we get affected by the weather. We get sometimes storms from the desert, but it's rarely. I mean, even I remember one time I was in my school. I was like probably 12 years old. We looked outside our glass, the window, and the whole area was like orange color, like a desert. Like well, that was like the worst things I've seen in Lebanon.
Wow.
But after that, the weather changed. We get rain. It's all gone. So anyway, I'm gonna
Okay.
stop
So
sharing.
so so you said like it was like a president that used to
He was a lawyer. His name is
okay,
Raymond Edde. He was
okay.
really liking how Switzerland was, like their system in the banking, which is secretive. They are not allowed. They don't allow anyone to know information about this account. It's by law they can't. So he's
Hmm.
like, oh, that's great. So he brought it to Lebanon. He brought that, and the Lebanon started doing the same thing. And that caught the attention of the Arab people from Dubai, from Saudi Arabia. And in that time, they had a lot of money due to their gas, to their oil. That they had a lot of money, a lot of dollars. So because of that system, they brought their money to Lebanon. And actually in 1945, after they were free from Lebanon, from France, Lebanon had only 9 banks. And after they did like they changed the whole system, and they brought the Switzerland, system of banking. They had 82 banks, which is like in how many years? So 45 to 62, like what, 18 years? They had like 89 banks, 85 banks. That's like, my goodness,
Wow.
what?
So so
It's
and
100% more.
and it was very unique that there is a lot of Christian over there,
The country was
uh,
majority Christian country.
and they lead, or
Yeah.
they
Well, Lebanon is the only country, even until today, they have a Christian president. Even though right now, even the Christian president, he is Christian, but he doesn't really control the decision of the country. It's sadly, it used to be, they used to decide, but and then we can see the difference for sure of where the country was and where the country is due to that. But anyway, and like, and even in 1974, before the war started, Lebanon had no debt at all, like zero debt. We were doing really good, like everything was fine. And then the war started in 1975 until 1990, which is like what, 25 years. So it's like, and it was like nonstop war after war after war. There's like a little bit breaks, but then another war break out. And don't forget, like that will affect the economy of a country. But even though with the war, with all that, and we had like what, more than 100,000 people, over 100,000 people died in this war, not including the millions of people who actually were refugees.
you talk about let's like just focus about what, like, to bold which war you speak about,
We're
you're
talking
talking about.
about in general, like between 1975 until 1990, we have civil war inside those 25 years. There was a
Okay.
civil war,
And
there was.
why it started, like, it's like look like a very calm place with kind of a Europe of the Middle East or something like this, and suddenly a war. What's happened?
Well, like when the Palestinian came to Lebanon, when they left Israel, they came to Lebanon, and like, let me just clear something. I am not a political person. I'm not one of those crazy people who are in politics, who memorize all this information. But I wanted to make sure I bring the right info, at least to share. And our purpose, what we're doing, is not to like to bring a truth, to be able to see we're going to the roots of the problem, to be able to see what is the solution between Lebanon and Israel. So we're not doing this to be able, you know what I mean? I'm just clarifying this. We are not trying to be those politics people to come and talk politically about the situation.
No,
Yeah, yeah,
we're totally trying to do the opposite. We're trying
yeah,
to talk about what we know
yeah.
from a peaceful place, and to try to bring the truth to people, because we believe in peace, but not from the side that, like, ignore religion, ignore
The real
the
conflict.
the real conflict. We
Yeah,
know that there is a conflict.
yeah,
I love Israel, you love Lebanon, and we want to try to speak about it as
yeah,
friends. Okay.
exactly. Um, so anyway, and I want to give example a little bit, like about literally even the dollar. Like how much the dollar worth right now. Right now is 9,400 Lebanese pound. So in 1990, the dollar was 700 lira, which is crazy, very cheap. And that was like what, when we get out of the war, and that it went up, because before the war it was like 2.70 something, I think, which is nothing, like really, like the dollar worth less than our money, which is
So,
crazy.
but I want to go back to what you said about why the war started.
Oh, the women. Well, why
Because
we talk?
we're talking about a beautiful place,
Yeah.
very calm. People coming to vacation from Europe, from all over the Middle East, coming to vacation in
No, people
Lebanon.
tell me, even in American, they're like, oh yeah, we visited Lebanon in 1960. I'm like,
So
oh, or
what's happened? What's
1950.
happened?
Well, okay, so when let's be real here. When Palestinian people left, Israel, obviously they came, for sure they were mad. There was even the military, which is with what's the guy name? Ali Yasser Arafat, and I think they had a war with Jordan, right? The Palestinian. They had a war with Jordan. I remember there was war, and then Jordan
Uh,
kicked them out from Jordan, and they came to Lebanon, and they were the military, and they brought all their missiles and everything to Lebanon. And here we go. We got stuck with that. Lebanon stuck with this, and the war started because, Palestinians, they start causing some problems, and um, for obviously they want to fight Israel from Lebanon, and
and like Lebanon started to be against Israel, because I was really shocked when I saw the history of Lebanon, that even in the independent war of Israel in 48,
yeah,
they wasn't involved, and in the 67 war, like the 6 day war, they wasn't involved too, and in Yom Kippur war, it's in the 73, they try not to be involved. This is crazy. Like you said, like it took time to the people to try to to start to be against Israel, the people inside of Lebanon, because in the beginning it wasn't like this. So if we're start to speak about the conflict, so it's really interesting because um you know I tried to find. I wrote from a couple of things that I want to speak about the conflict. Where is it? Okay, so as Israeli, I know that there was like two wars between Israel and Lebanon. One in 83 and one in 2006. But the truth is that was all the time, the conflict was there all the time. But
there's more five wars that we saw the
yeah,
years.
yeah, but as Israeli, this is really
Yeah,
interesting,
yeah,
because
yeah,
as Lebanese, you speak about five wars, but as
yeah,
Israeli, we speak about two wars.
yeah,
Okay. Um, so the first one, 83, and then Israeli stayed in Lebanon for a couple of years, and then left Lebanon. The Israeli military stayed in the south of Lebanon for a long years,
yeah,
and then Israel left Lebanon, and then it started the 2006 war, where the Hezbollah shoot rockets on Israel. But in 2006, like Hezbollah wasn't kind of the government, okay?
yeah,
There wasn't in the parliament and everything, in the Congress.
yeah.
Um, but right now, it's all changed, yeah? Like
Because they are in the government now.
they're in the government, and they like, so there is like rules, Islamic rules right now in Lebanon. What is going on? Like I would love if you can show like
But
your picture.
I want to ask you,
Yeah.
you don't remember the 1996 war? We had a war too, 1996. Hold on,
In
19,
Israel, I
1990, yeah,
I was
1996.
I was really young. I know that there was a lot of conflict with Lebanon. I
Yeah,
know in 1996 there was like it's in Israel, we call it operation
I was
to
9 years.
this war.
How old was I? I was 11 years old.
So yeah, in Israel we call it, for this specific war, operation, not a war, in 1996, like the operation
For
that's been
Lebanon,
right
it
now.
was a war I'll tell you, I remember the details of that war because I had to leave my house because the sounds were really traumatizing me. So I had to leave to my aunt's house, and I stayed there for a month. And I
It's
remember,
really interesting. It's really interesting to see it from the different
yeah, I didn't
sides.
know you guys don't call it a war. I was like, hold on a second. So yeah, no, for Lebanon, it was a war because let me tell you, they even hit an area. We were hiding with my family in the Christian area, and I remember Israeli jets came to where I was, and when we left, even though that we left, they hit an electrical company very close to where I was, and I was like, okay, what else I need to go to hide from all these bombs?
Wow. So
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 that,
I was a little bit young. I think I was 8. Um, but in Israel, it's only semantic, things. Semantic. I can say it in English. Like how we say how we call it. It's we in Israel we used to call for a war for something that it's all the army involved.
yeah.
But if not all the army and it's only air force or something like this, so and it's couple of I don't know couple of days, so they're not calling it a war. I don't know how many days it was. I can check,
I know it
but
was more than once for sure.
yeah. Even though if it's a month, Tzukeitan,
Mm-hmm.
we are not called Tzukeitan as a war. We call it operation. It's different. I don't know how
Yeah.
the exactly how they decided, but doesn't matter. We understand that there was a fight.
Oh yeah, I
Um,
remember the helicopters. I was in my bed even before we left. Helicopters, I remember the sounds of the helicopters coming at night. We had no electricity, and you can just even see some of the light of the bombing because I was close to the area where they were bombing.
so I can say that until when Israel been in Lebanon um, for a couple of years until they decided to leave Lebanon. Um, so I think that the mission there was to try to stop the rockets on Israel and to stop the terror organization of of the Palestinian and the Hezbollah that you said that tried to attack Israel from the north all the time, and
Yeah.
it was like a very um, difficult border for Israel, the north, the border in the north with Lebanon, because it was a couple of years of a lot of attacks on the Israeli village. So that's why Israel entered inside to Lebanon, and I think that the both side like suffered. I think in Israel, um, I think in the middle of the pandemic, a lot of Israelis start to speak about what they felt in Lebanon when they've been in Lebanon, because the Israeli people, there is like a law, a rule that you need to go to be in to do a military service for
Mm-hmm.
3 years. So there is, a lot of people that right now they are lawyers, they are singers like me. They are, I don't know, they're
Yeah.
working in different things. But when they was 18, sorry, they've been in they've been in Lebanon.
Mm-hmm.
They was in Lebanon, and they fought a lot, and uh,
They made a
the
song, by the way. Have you heard the song? I sent it to
yeah,
you.
yeah, and
The
there is the
yeah,
movie from the movie.
I don't know if it's from the movie, but I remember that video that I saw. It was like Israeli soldiers saying like how much they love Lebanon, they miss Lebanon, they miss the hummus of Lebanon.
Yeah, it's really
Oh,
interesting because a lot of Israeli have like a post trauma from this day in Lebanon. There is a lot of Israeli that killed in Lebanon. So from 83, all the things that we said, that Lebanon tried not to be involved, but as you said, the demographic inside of Lebanon changed, and like Lebanon became more and more against Israel, and it's really interesting because before it wasn't like this. It's really interesting.
Tell them what we were talking about before we came live regarding like when the war happened in what was it? The 1949, the 1949 war, like, and Lebanon didn't participate in the 6 Days War. And they were trying to get like France to stop the war between these countries. We were like, Lebanon was involved in that? To be the
Yeah, so
mediation?
all the countries, just to if I can explain to the
Yeah,
people
tell them.
that watching us, so until the Yom Kippur War in 73, all the countries around of Israel tried. They believed that the Israeli people were left, and there was like the Arabic League that unite all the countries around Israel and got a lot of money from other countries and a lot of support to attack Israel. And it was in '84 when Israel decided when Israel got the independent from the I forgot the word, from all the countries. They decided to give the Israel independent country. Uh, Help me with the word. The place they gather all the nations. Uh,
The United Nations?
yeah, the
Yeah.
United Nations.
Was it England, right?
Not England. All the countries. There was a vote, and all the countries.
Yeah, there was many countries. I don't know exactly which one they were. So,
So there was a lot of countries, and there was a vote, and they decided to bring Israel a country. So it was in 48. All the Arabic League decided not to accept this decision and to not give the Palestinian. The decision was to give half of the country to Israel and half of the country to the Palestinian. And it really reminds me every time I'm talking about it. It's really reminding me the Shlomo judge. You know the story with
mhm.
Shlomo, with the baby, with the two women. Uh, you don't know the story, so I think that most of the people here. I hope that you know, but I will shortly say the story. Shlomo was two women came to Shlomo, the king Solomon, and one said, "This is my baby," and the second one said, "No, this is my baby." So King Solomon asked himself, "What will I do? How can I know which one owned this baby?" So he said, "You know what? I want to split uh, this baby for two. I will give half to you and half to you." So the real mom said, "No, no. You know what? Give her the baby."
I know the story, but I didn't know the name Shlomo. I didn't know what's.
Shlomo. Okay.
I was like,
Uh,
"What's Shlomo?"
yeah, Shlomo, so Solomon, yeah.
No, I
and
know
uh,
the
and
story.
and the second woman say no, cut it. So I feel the same thing about, and of course that
Yeah,
King
yeah.
Solomon understood that the one that said okay, give the baby to the other woman, she was the right mom, the real mom. But why it's reminding me, because as Israeli, as a Jew, we just learned this week in the parasha. It's like something that we read in the shul, in the synagogue, when we go in Shabbat. We read about how we got this land and how God bring us the land. So we dreamed for years for the whole country, you know.
Mhm,
So when the United Nations told us take half, so we said, okay, you know what? Give this half to the Palestinian, because we prefer to get Israel, but we won't get all that we dreamt, but
mhm,
we'll get something, you know what? And the Palestinians said, no, we want to fight. So if I back to the story, so in 48 and in 67 and in 73, So the all the Arabic League with all the countries around Israel tried to kill the Israeli people, to try to do like a second Holocaust to the Jewish people. That was the plan. Like if you attack Israel and try to kill and try to control Israel, what you're gonna do with all these Jewish people? So they plan to kill them. So the Jewish people inside of Israel, they fought for their life, you know, and with less weapons, less tanks, and less um, um, um,
They were not
uh,
equipped like now, for sure.
it wasn't like this, like today.
No.
There was a
Mhm.
very small
Yeah,
army in Israel, but we won. And for
yeah.
me, as someone that believe in God and
It was a
believe
miracle,
in,
I believe.
yeah, I believe I believe the same.
Yeah.
So, but what I wanted to say that it's really interesting that I didn't know it, that Lebanon
We
try
both
not to be involved in all those wars, and it's amazed me, like because right now we know Lebanon like very against Israel. I don't speak about the people because I don't know. Maybe you can tell us more, but I know that the government and Hezbollah is like one of the most anti-Israeli country right now, Lebanon.
Mhm.
So it's really interesting, and it's give a lot of hope for me because I know that um, things can be changed. If it's changed for anti-Israel, it can be changed again. So I want to ask you a question, and if you can show us a couple of photos that you prepared for us about what you learned about Israel when you was was young. What you
Um,
know about Israel?
Honestly, there's a two side of the story for me because first, when I was in a Christian school, we were never taught anything in school regarding Israel being our enemy. We never ever been taught about it. But then because our finances were not great, my dad couldn't afford that school. I moved to a public school near my house, and actually, it was definitely a little like culture shock for me because I was surrounded with a lot of Shia people, from where I lived, because I lived right on the area, like close to, like they call it Khat al-Tamis, which is the area right by where all the Hezbollah, are. I've walked to their area, and I'll tell you, it feels different than different areas. But anyway, so we used to see school people from, like from their area used to come to our school, because it was like one of the better education one than the one they have in their area. So they used to come literally in buses they bring them in buses and bring them to the school. But anyway, being around there, because I was in school, um, even in that time, I think it was around. Hold on, let me tell you exactly. It was around like probably 19, maybe 2000, maybe 2000. No, hold on, 1990. 1996, so like 1997, like around that time. So there was a big war happened. We called it war. And so there was so much inside these kids, like, so I went to school, and I remember when we used to hear the jets of the Israel come, just because they always come until today, they always come. And I was trying to see, they call it sonic, like a sonic, um what is it called, it sonic, the sound that they make. Well, I was trying to research to tell you, because I always tell you about the sound. You know what I mean? I always told you about the sound. It's called sonic boom. You know what's that? For the airplane, like, and they used to make like a big sound, and like shake the whole, literally our door shake. That's how strong it was.
So you learn like to hate Israel?
No, I didn't learn to hate. I used to hear them talking about their hate, but I never complained. The only thing I complained about, like, I hated the sound. Just for childhood
I
game.
can't believe it. How can you live like with people around you that
I don't know.
you
I don't. My
have
family never spoke. I think maybe because they knew what's really happening in Lebanon. They knew maybe because they lost people in war. I'm telling you, I don't even know. Like even today, my family don't hate Israel. Like they don't hate, and they don't like to hate anything and anyone. I mean, even with
But I'm
Syria, they
sure that you are, as a child, you heard things on school and you came back home and said to your mom, hey, the Jewish people is like this and this and this. So what your mom,
I
I'm sure.
never talked to my family about things like that, honestly. I never, but I never seen my family, even in war when we had to leave, I never heard them saying anything bad. Because I don't know, either they're already like so like what do you call it? So I'm sorry, sometimes I have to translate my brain from Arabic to English too. Um they're numb. They're numb to the war. Don't forget, after 25 years, they lost family members, they lost friends, they lost people in their family. I don't know if they were numb or something, but we never, even the Syrian, like they killed a lot of people in our family, but maybe because Israel didn't kill, we didn't get killed by them. Maybe that's why they didn't have hate, because my family more was not hating on Syria or Palestinian, but they were more like they didn't like them because they scared them in their life. They killed their family, they destroyed their home, they destroyed their stuff. It could be because maybe we never got hit by Israel. You know what I mean? Because they never hit on the Christian area. Could be because of that. This is something I'm trying to think about why it happened. We never felt danger, like in danger when Israel hitting. We're like, oh, they're hitting the other
Wow,
side.
this is
Yeah,
interesting to know.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. They never hit our area. But the only reason why I was here because where we lived, my mom always told me, "Don't worry, they're not gonna hit us." Like they knew Israel is not going to hit the Christian areas, and it's not because they were allied. But honestly, obviously, we saw you and me. There was a time, they were trying to work on a peace treaty. Lebanon was the only time. When did we were talking about it, you and me? It was around what year? Um, what year was it, Jair? Do you remember when we were talking about it?
uh,
Uh, it was around 1980s.
about
When
what?
when the when the Christian leaders, they were trying to ally, the Israeli and the Christian leaders are trying to ally, and they were the one who actually the Christian leader are in the government part. But obviously they killed that leader who actually was planning to be allied with Israel. They killed him. He was really good president too.
Yeah,
I'm
and
pleased to
and you
say.
and okay, so this story that you said right now give me a lot of hope because um we need to find the people, and we know that there's like a very um in the when Israel been in Lebanon in the past, so a lot of Christian try to help Israel.
Oh,
uh
and Muslim too.
what?
And Muslim too. There's people who are Muslim. They left Lebanon 2006. They are in Israel now.
Yeah, so there is a lot of people that try to help Israel, and Israel actually after the war took them to Israel. um so it's really interesting. I don't know, because I know that there is like a lot of people that try to help Israel and then they're really mad on Israel because some of them didn't get like the safety and they stayed in Lebanon, so
Yeah.
they not feel safe. So I know that this is something like that a lot of Lebanese really um, disappointing from Israel about this thing. So this is something that you heard when you was young.
Um, I've watched the news. I've seen the news. I heard they used to call people, I think it's called Jesh Lahad, I think, and it was the people who are Lebanese who were fighting with Israel, against Hezbollah.
Yeah.
And these people were actually they were Christians and they were Muslim too. Um, and they partner with Israel because they really felt safer with them, because the Muslim actually were killing some of the Christian people over there. And one of the people who is very well known in America, her name is Brigitte Gabriel. I don't know if you guys know Brigitte Gabriel. She's a very activist here in America, and the government too, and in the politics. And she talks a lot about, like, what the Muslim were doing in that time, in the south of Lebanon, especially Palestinian, and they were literally going and killing people and all that until she was not safe. And I think she got injured too when she was a kid, and she's been through so much and so much trauma and fear too, to the point like they ran away and they went to Israel, and she felt so much safer over there, and they protected them. So just seeing those kind of stories, it's kind of tell us like, really, okay, who is really our enemies? You know what I mean? Like, because when we see even Lebanese people fleeing to Israel, and I always wonder, like, how come okay, I mean, we're not stupid, we're people, we're human. We were seeing what's going on in Lebanon. We were seeing how the Christian, we used to be attacked because we used to live on the border with the Muslim area and the Christian. We've seen like the conflict. We used to have people coming, like the young people coming, and they want to fight with the Christian people. I remember I used to go to my balcony, and I used to see them on the right corner, like how they used to fight, because young people used to always stand over there. Like, I've seen them, I've seen the conflict. I've seen how, Hezbollah come in their
Do
motorcycles with
you
their
feel
flag.
like Christian people right now in Lebanon is they're kind of a hostage, or they
Oh,
can
they are hostage right now. The Christians right now, anyway, they are leaving the country. We only have like 37% of the country are Christians. And if you bring boats right now, because long time ago they brought boats and people went in the boats and they left the country. Right now they tell you, don't take the country. Bring us boats and get us out of here. We just gonna want to get
wow.
out. I want to, if even if we go to different country, and one guy is, I'm a doctor. I'll go to different country, and even if I'm gonna be working in garbage, I don't care. Get me out of here. You know what I mean? Just like people are so desperate. They are in a place we're living right now,
But
but we
this is
are
what
dead.
this is what the Muslim people want. So
It's not
uh,
the Muslim. It's the Iranian regime that already messed up Yemen. They messed up Iraq. They're messing even with Syria, and now it's
but this is
Lebanon.
what Hezbollah want. Hezbollah prefer not to have the Christian people, I'm sure, because it could control all the country. Or you think that
They want to gain power. They want to gain power. They want to be the strongest country. They were trying to take over the Middle East, and I believe in the end, because they want to come and destroy Israel. I mean, we all know that they want to come and destroy
so
you guys.
can you explain us what is going on right now in Lebanon? Like to be, uh, try not, n- uh, try to speak. If you can, wait a second, one moment before. Can you show us picture of you in Lebanon, like in the good times?
Oh Lord, help me. All right.
Because
You
it's
know,
really
like,
interesting.
when you don't want to show yourself in those kind of age, but I'm gonna show it just because, like, hey, I was in Lebanon.
Just try to find,
Uh,
like, to show us a couple of pictures, and then like to talk about place. I don't
oh,
know.
this is, mm, how do you
But you
turn
need
this?
you need to
Wait.
do a share screen, and if you can just tell us, like, to show us a place that you used to hang out, and now it's like
I wish if I could. How do I turn this picture like more straight? This is when I went to the Cedars of Lebanon. I know, the most famous place, mentioned over 70 times in the Bible. This is one of the trip that I went to. It's not straight. I don't know how to turn it to straight. But anyway, um, I'll go to the next picture here. This isn't kind of my childhood. The first picture here. Let me see. What are you guys seeing on YouTube right now? Let me see.
yeah,
Okay.
it's okay. They see it.
So the picture on the left here is actually I was in my school, where actually I learned. I was hearing from the people who are Muslim from Hezbollah. Some of them they used to sing some of the Hezbollah songs in my class, and in that time I was like, okay, what's the heck? Like, because we never were in politics. I never been close to people who are actually children who's been brainwashed with Hezbollah, and they used to sing their song, and they used to do just some stuff that I never used to before. Anyway, this is how our my the in that school right here. I think I was 14. And the one in the middle is actually when I start singing.
But
Like, this is
you've been together with them, like you was you, unless just learning with them, you you've been friends, like
Yeah, I was friends. I had some friends with them. Yeah, but I used to hear their stories and I used to hear their hate for Israel. But I was just like, okay, like I never shared how I feel because like I just didn't have that in my heart. Um, but anyway, the only thing I'm like, yeah, I didn't sleep last night because of the sound, or that's all what I used to say. That's all what bothers me is the sound. I want to sleep. But anyway, so the one in the middle is in the same school, actually, and this is when I was actually that I discovered, like, I mean, they discovered me that I can sing and I have a beautiful voice, whatever. So they start putting me into some Christmas songs and some, like, I was 15 here. Yeah, I was 15 years old.
okay, I can't understand. Like, I, I I don't understand something. Can you stop the share screen? I want to ask you something that
Yeah.
I don't understand. Like, how can it be that you learn with Muslims? Because, Muslims believe like that the Christian, they are kafir. Kafir, I can say kafir in Arabic.
كافر كافر مظبوط. Yeah,
Kafir.
I know what you mean.
Aywa.
Yeah.
So,
Some of them, they used to, we used to do like a Christian Bible study. Some of them used to attend the Bible study, by the way, which is very interesting. They wanted to learn because they never had access to learn the Bible with us, which is very interesting.
but they accept like the friendship. Their parents accept that they are friends with Christian.
Yeah, yeah. In Lebanon, we do have Muslim friends until today. I mean, I do. Some of them they still talk to me, even though they know what I did with Israel because social media they can see everything. Some of them they're still talking to me. Some of them they never contacted me anymore, and I know why. I respect them. But what surprised me, some of them had no problem, and they didn't even. They said, "You're doing what you're doing, and we're not. We don't hate you for doing that because we know your heart. They know who I am, and they know me, and they know my heart never been on hating anyone. So that kind of probably helped them not to understand what I'm doing, and especially with the message we're sharing. It's like we are not here. We want both country to be prosperous. We don't want to have that for the next generation. So they were very encouraging actually and very interesting. And the same time, right now, if you watch some of the news, I know you guys cannot understand everything they're saying, and I'll tell you, they were when Israel asked for help to help Lebanon. I don't watch the news as any because usually even in news is political, meaning like if this channel is with this political side, I don't watch this kind of news. I go watch different something on social media that they talk directly to the people and they show what's going on in the street of Lebanon. That's how I would know my news. Um, and the people were saying like they were saying, which is crazy, they were like, Israel felt bad for us. They want to help us. Supposedly our first enemy is feeling bad for our situation, and our leaders of our country, they're not even caring
So
that we are
let's
dying.
explain. So let's explain to the people that watching us what are
Yeah,
you talking about.
yeah.
Let's speak
Well,
about what is going on. We spoke about how Lebanon been, how it was to grow in Lebanon. That it feel like something that yeah, you've been in a war, but it still feels to me like a very beautiful place to live and to be. And we
mhm,
understand that like the Islamic radical Islamic try start to take control on the country.
mhm.
You
Yeah, they want to make
spoke
the
about
country to be Muslim.
yeah.
That's what
So
they want.
you spoke about the interests of the Palestinians and about Hezbollah and all the things that happened.
Mhm,
Uh, right now, it's not only about Muslim and Christian. It's like about the government start they there's like Iran involved and a lot of things that happened, but right now Lebanon in a very bad situation. So what's happened
and
to
the
Lebanon?
economy.
The
Yeah.
economy. So what's happened?
So, it's a mix of many things. It's corruption, it's mismanagement of the money, and and plus, we had the explosion, and COVID, everything together. But of course, we're not going to put blame on the explosion or the COVID, but it really were a sector that even got the country to a worse place, because we had so many even shutdowns, more than, I don't know, 3 4 in Lebanon. But the thing is, like, when Lebanon, when they were trying to rebuild the country after the war, the banks was still in a good position. And what happened is the government, they took money from the bank of Lebanon, because they were able to get an amount, and they sold them some like papers, and they were paying actually even high interest on that money. And they were taking a lot and lots of money to rebuild the country, and they did rebuild the country, and the Beirut was actually pretty nice and beautiful. And I don't know if you guys like seeing how Beirut is. It's beautiful. I mean, I've been there. I even have pictures, like, actually in Beirut, in some of my picture here when I was there last time. um so, when they they sold, it was, I think, around in November 1997 when they start doing that. And and actually, no, in 1997, the dollar, they fixed the dollar on 1,500, because, like I was saying, right now the dollar is how much? Is 19,400. So in 1997 November, the banks, they fixed the dollars on 1,500, and again right now it's 19,000. They fixed it on 1,500 for the longest time, until like 2019, when the revolution happened. So the bank was happy they're getting more interest
You
from
mean
the.
about this? You mean about this photo? This is in Beirut.
Which one? Oh yeah, yeah. This was in downtown Beirut. Yeah, I was in the garden in downtown. This one is no, this is not in Beirut. This is in the mountain in Yunus
This
Siman.
is you?
This one was,
Or your
yeah. um, I was 20
I
more.
never saw you with the
22
long
years.
hair.
Oh, this is in the war. This is in the Civil War.
Wow,
Um, yeah.
wow.
Some of my area looked like that where I was. They used to this one, they used to put those walls, and to be able to hide behind it and shoot, and stuff. So we call it mitres. So
Okay. So
so
we're
it's like,
speaking about the situation right now. So the bad economy, a lot of poor.
yeah.
We
So
just
so
talked at the beginning about the two babies that just died today. Like the two
Well,
babies.
let me just finish the part of the economy
Okay.
first. And in 1991, they didn't just limit it on taking money from the Bank of Lebanon. They started taking money of outside the country, and that took the debt of Lebanon to a really crazy amount, to the point, like, in 2000 and was it in March 2000 and in 2020, for the first time, Lebanon couldn't pay their debt anymore. They just didn't have the money anymore. They couldn't even pay, because they used to pay their debt, and they used to do, I'm not going to go detail, but they used to do other stuff to be able to delay, their, to not, they were just doing some stuff which is, I don't know if it was legal what they were doing. But anyway, corruption can make you do anything to keep paying more time before the country be exploded with what we're going through right now. I believe we could have went through this even before, but with they tried to stretch it for years and years. And then, when the war in 2006 happened, they even the Lebanon was completely, like, we didn't have any more airports. The ports was, like, electricity, everything was like completely, destroyed for that 1 month war. So they got even more money from Paris. So it was just, and I believe, there was definitely lots of mismanagement of the money. Like, they took some of that money and they used it in some of the investment that didn't bring money back to the country. So when you bring all that money debt when you get, example, $1 million, and you just spend it, and you're not bringing more money to the country from that money you invested into, and that money that you took to invest, it's not making you pay those
So,
debts,
so
the
it's like
payment.
it's like
That
you're saying it's like a bad management,
Yeah,
but
bad management,
but after
bad
this
investment,
bad management, after this bad management, uh, what's happened? They tried to cover the problem with to steal from people. Yeah, that's what they did.
Well, first the first stage that happened when I think was in 2017. The prime minister, he just didn't want to be in the government anymore. So some of the Arab countries, they removed their dollars, remember? So when we have dollars in our banks, that will help our money to our the to be good. So when they removed it in 2017, that start bringing shaking the country. And and then they kept it going until 2019. It's completely got, it wasn't good. And even the money of the people that's in the bank, the banks limited the people. Example, I have family who they are Americans, but they have money like 100,000, 50,000. They cannot even get their money right now, because the bank, they put limit on, only first they did like $300, and then they put $400. So they limit them. And then there was time they couldn't get money at all from their bank. So that shook the whole country and the bank system. So many banks closed. I don't know how many, but so many bank completely closed. And like the country start being in devastation if people cannot have their money. And then because of the dollar now is the equivalent of 19,400, from being in 2019 October, before 2000, October 2019. Okay, the dollar was 1,500. Remember when we talked?
I would love to speak more about the people, because now
Yeah, no, I know,
it,
but it's
an
good. It's
artist,
good to know. It's good to know what's happening to the people. So
but
because of all this,
as artist, for me, when you
yeah.
start to speak about numbers, I started like to fly in the air. I don't,
No, no, I know.
I heard that today, and it shocked me, like two babies died because they didn't have electric and they couldn't go to get oxygen from the hospital. So like the situation in Lebanon is really bad. It's not only that people don't have money to buy things, they actually don't have food, they don't have electricity, they don't, like, people live in the street, they don't have what to eat, even if they have
They eat the
house.
garbage.
What? Yeah. So, and it's not only the poor people, like, when this kind of things start to happen to a country, so it's first it's attack the it's affect the poor people, but now we understand, like, the people that had money, right now they are in a bad situation, they don't have what to eat. This is crazy. Like,
Because they cannot get their money from the banks.
so
The money at the banks is just number. The money is not there anymore.
this is crazy. And the thing that I was, uh, if you can, like, tell me what you think about it. So I think that the interesting thing here, if we are connecting all this conversation together, is that this time Israel suggesting and help. So, and I understand that the Lebanese people not going to take it. Um, but it's really interesting because we just spoke about all the things that's happened in the beginning of Israel, uh,
Mhm.
that Lebanon tried to not attack Israel, and yeah, they support. I'm not saying that they wasn't involved. They support the Arab armies, but they wasn't, like, they didn't attack. There wasn't a part of the armies that attack Israel. And even in the 67 war, they try to stop the war with the French government.
Yeah.
Right now, Israel trying to help to Lebanon, and they suggest for foreign help. You believe, not uh, as Karin,
Yeah.
but as someone that was living in Lebanon and know. I'm more interested about the Muslim people. Do you think that they can get help from Israel?
I mean, I've seen some of the comment of the people, and some people they're like, "Oh, we prefer to die and not get help from Israel." I mean, it's just an ego thing, it's just so much emotion. Maybe this is someone who lost maybe a brother or a kid or a wife or whatever or a dad in the war. You know what I mean? We have to see who are the people who are saying these things, but at the same time, I mean, I believe if Lebanon in a desperate place, and let's say a father, his son's gonna die, and Israel is the only solution and the one who's gonna help them, and to bring equipment or bring the need of their children, I believe every father and mother would prefer to work with Israel and to save their children. And I believe we are coming in a very critical time in Lebanon, that Israel is showing. This is the second time they ask to help. The first one is after the explosion, which is, I know my friend told me, Israel, they built hospitals on the border of Lebanon just in case someone would come, to treat them. And I believe it's true because it's a friend who is Lebanese who live in Israel. She saw it and she told me what it was. But anyway, and the second time I believe, and I think we're gonna have even a third time. I believe it's gonna be again on the news a third time, and I believe because it's getting worse. I believe as personally as I'm seeing what's happening, we're gonna come to a time the people of Lebanon they're gonna be screw our government. We're gonna go get some help. We don't care even from our nearest enemy, closest enemy. We're gonna go save our life, even it's gonna come from them.
There is the
I'm
one.
hoping, huh?
Yeah, yeah. Keep talking.
Yeah, I'm sorry for my language, but I was just like, I believe this is what the Lebanese are, in the place like we're done. If our country, our government is not going to protect us, and if Israel is going to save our life, I believe they're going to actually get that help. They're going to see how serious. And the reason why we're doing this, you and me, for them to see, like Israel want to help. Israel is not the enemy as we've been seeing for all these years, and I think we are in a good place. Honestly, I believe with everything that's happening in Lebanon right now, it's opening the eyes of the Lebanese. Like right now, you get more people saying, we don't care about any parties. I used to be with this party. I don't want to deal with them anymore. I'm done with them. We want new people. We want someone who love Lebanon to take the lead of Lebanon. We are done from all these political people who's trying to kill us all these years and destroy us. So I believe we're gonna probably get to a time we probably might see Lebanese people accepting, because of now we have no electricity for they only barely they get hour or 2 hours for 24 hours electricity. So if you have food in your fridge, your food is not good. And plus, because of, I don't know if you guys know, Lebanon rely on two things to get electricity: the regular electricity from the government, and we have even the generators. So that's why, because we don't have 24-hour electricity, we get generator to be able to cover whatever is missing from the electricity from the government. So, but now with the prices going so high, people cannot afford anymore having generator. So that's why we've been seeing, I mean, as I talked to you today, and like two kids, one of them, he died because he didn't have the oxygen. And actually his grandfather died the same way too. I didn't tell you that part. His grandfather died from the same way because there was no electricity. So that guy, he was talking, his dad died and his son, because he didn't have the oxygen machine. And the other girl, she died because, there was no hospitals allowing her to enter because there's no medication in the hospitals. And I mean, there's people who, like, literally, one guy, he burned his van. He's a driver. He get people to go, and to take them, transportation to places. He have a van, and he was staying 4 hours to put gas in his van. Okay, and when he got to the gas station after 4 hours, guys, and he got there, and they said, "Oh, we have no gas anymore. We're done." You know what he did? He burned his van. His children saw on the news they're
I
dead in the street, and he burned his van.
have to say that as a Jew, um, we know that God said to the Jewish people, when your enemy fall, don't celebrate your enemy fall. When your enemy fall, and this is like a very deep thing for the Jewish people. Even though we're fighting with Lebanon, for us, it's not like a happy day when we see what's happening in Lebanon. Even if I know people that killed by Lebanese people, And even I actually released a song called Uf Kadima. It's about a soldier that killed by the Hezbollah. But as Israeli, as a Jew, I know that God tells us all the time in the Bible, for a couple of times in the Bible, not to celebrate when your enemy fall, and not to and not and how to deal with actually how to save your soul when you fight against enemy, and not to be an animal that only want to kill. You need to
Yeah.
protect yourself, and that's why the Israeli army called IDF, Israeli Defense Forces. The deep meaning here is like to defense, not to attack. And for me, it's really hard for me to hear those stories. It's really important for me to tell you that I think that a lot of Israeli feel really bad, and I know that the suggestion for help that Israeli ask Lebanon to suggest for Lebanon, it's a truly an honest suggestion,
Hmm.
because we really want to help, and we don't want to see anyone suffer, even if week or two ago their weapons was against Israel. Now there's
Yeah.
like children's over there, and as you said, the situation is look really bad. And as I see it, I think that there's like two options. The first one is like that the Lebanese will put down the ego and will try
Yeah.
to get help from Israel. The second option, and I have to say that this is a very bad option, that they will get help from Iran. And if they will get the help from Iran, so I think that Lebanon will
Will
become,
be done.
yeah, become like another Syria. And it will be really bad for Lebanon, really bad for the Christian in Lebanon, and
Oh
really
yeah.
for the all the Middle East, that like country. If you're just joining us right now, so please go back and see the beginning of the video, how Lebanon was. We build it, this video, just to show you how it was until the radical Islam came inside to Lebanon, and how it's now. Now it's really bad. And I pray that Lebanon, they can decide. When you are in a very bad situation, you can take decision, hard decision, and they can decide uh, what how they wanna live. Uh,
Yeah.
and I feel like the Christian people in Lebanon standing right now in a very historical position, that they can decide uh, a lot for the Middle
You,
East.
you know, uh, the Christian the problem is the Christians are not united. They're divided, and that's what really like, there's power in unity, and if they will be united together against all this corruption, against but I still have hope though with everything that's taking place right now in Lebanon. And that's my prayer is their unity. They will be united beyond, like they will forget all these political, parties, and they would focus on coming together, because right now the economy situation affecting anyone, doesn't matter who you are, if you are with this political party or this one, it's affecting both. So that's why my hope is like, hopefully this hard time will get them to realize and to see the lies, that's been trying to be controlling over their mind for the last few years, and maybe this will bring them together to fight the corruption and to be able to fight
But
against,
I
you know,
have to say that, yeah, I, I I accept what you said about the Christians, but I think that the Muslims, and we can understand it as people that believe and have a deep faith for our beliefs. even though our beliefs are different. But
Different, yeah.
yeah, but we know how it's to believe. So the Muslim, the radical Islam, uh, sell for the people there a lot of hope when the Christian will leave, or something like this. If the Christian will leave, or if there was like a big empire of Islam empire in the Middle East, or something like this. So this is what Iran sell, and the Turkish people too, and you know. So for the Muslim people, I'm not sure that they won't suffer for it. I think that they will accept the fact that they need to suffer for this. So that's why I said that the most important thing here is what the Christian will do. And I have to say that I'm it's really sad for me to see the situation of the Christian people there, because it's a very hard position. In one hand, you love your country,
Yeah.
and you want to stay, but in the other hand, you're afraid to die.
Many people left. The people who left just in 1 year, in the last year, it's so much more, like so much more than how much we had left the last 30 years. The amount of people who left, like, Lebanon was the majority was the Christians, and it went from being I think was like 65% or 70 something percent Christians, and then now it's like we are the minority, which is the 37%. So the Muslim took over, and but still there's people in the Muslim, they tell the Christian like, no, we cannot have Lebanon not have the Christians. They know how powerful it is to have the Christian in Lebanon. But at the same time, like if they're not gonna feel safe, and they're not gonna have money to feed their children, and they have opportunity to leave, they're gonna leave. They're not going to keep fighting. I think some of the Lebanese mindset is like, we've been fighting since we were born and nothing changed. We want to go find a life, we cannot keep living like this.
Yeah, and,
So,
I can understand it. The only thing that can, that keep people stay in their place, it's only faith. And I feel that the Muslim people have um, a lot of faith, like to 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 take control of this country. So the Christian people have another option, like to leave and to go to other place. So if they have the option, I can understand them, like they want to leave. And
oh,
this.
especially now with the situation.
Yeah.
I mean, we in Lebanon, we don't have any more specialists in the medical department in the hospitals. Like there's specialists for cancer or specialists for heart. All the specialists in the country are gone. Like we don't have a special, we have like more nurses, but no more doctors as much. And even nurses are leaving to like UK, Paris, Canada, United States, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Dubai, UAE, they're leaving to all these countries. They're getting offers and they're leaving, which is really bad.
Yeah. So Karin, I want to ask the people that seeing us right now. There's a lot of people here. To If they want to ask a question. I saw that Michelle, she said that her father fought in the Six-Day War in Israel. So, in which side? Uh, in the IDF, or is it from a different country? Was his position? If you can tell us. Uh, So if you want to ask us a question, it's a good opportunity for us to answer your question. It was really important for us to do it live, because we wanted to see your comments. And please, again, please help us to share this video. Um, and that's it. So let's start to read your comments. Oh, Israel. Michelle said Israel, that her father is an Israeli. So you are an Israeli? You live in Israel?
Oh, hold on, someone asking a question.
Yeah.
Is Karine from Ashrafiyeh? No, I'm not from Ashrafiyeh, and my parents were never with any political party. This is someone Lebanese asking me
Just
that.
explain to the people that don't know what is Ashrafia. So there's
Ashrafiyeh is just an area in Lebanon. It's a city, small. It's a town in Lebanon. It's close to Beirut. It's close to downtown Beirut. I've been there many times actually. But yeah, my family were never with any political side like party growing up. Never ever.
okay. Michelle said that her father was born in Morocco. That this is something that not a lot of people know. That a lot of Israelis, and then he like moved to Israel. Not a lot of people in the world know that a lot of people. I think almost I don't know the numbers, but I think that more than 50% of the Israeli in Israel, the Jewish
Mm-hmm.
people, they came from Arab countries, from Muslim countries.
Yeah.
Th- This is something that not a lot of people know. Even my father, uh, actually, my father born in Israel, but my grandma and my grandfather, they all came from instead of one that came from Europe, but all the other three came from Arab countries. So yeah. Aileen asking you a question. You see the questions?
Aline, this is for you, right? How
Ah,
many years
how
did you
many
stay
years
at
did you
IDF?
serve in the IDFA? So almost for 8 years. Actually, I have a very interesting story. I won't tell all the story right now, but it's became I took my life story and I made from it a musical lecture that I'm telling my story how I had like a band when I was 16, and then I decided to go to, actually I didn't decide, there is like a rules in Israel. So I went to be a fighter to the ITF, and then because a couple of things that happened in the middle, I decided to stay for a military career. But in the middle, right before I started to be actually to sign for the long military career, I decided to leave and to quit and to fulfill my dream to be a musician, but not like as you see right now, not a regular musician. I felt that I want with my music to bring a message to the world, and that's what I'm trying to do. So if I need to speak, I'm trying to speak, even if I don't have a good English. But if I need to sing, I will sing. That yeah,
This guy, okay, you're done? Sorry.
yeah, yeah.
Let me tell him in Arabic, okay? Let me just tell him something. الموراني أنا كنت عايشة بالشياح، خط التماس يعني عمالة الشياح مش على مالة العدلية. فكرمال هيك كنت عم بقول أنا نحن على الخط القريب من الشياح اللي هن محل كانوا حزب الله. فهذا اللي قصدي. Anyway, I would just tell him, explain to him exactly where I was, and so he would understand, like,
He asked about the place. Oh,
yeah, he was asking like you were saying, Khat Tam is like where the border with Hezbollah, where I used to live, and he said that will lead me to another place which is different, and I explained to him where I was, so he will know. If he's in Lebanon, I mean, he will know where I used to live.
guy asking, saying something about Hamas.
It's the same thing too, for sure. I mean, we hear a lot of Palestinians say that, Hamas is stealing the money that's sent to help the actually Palestinian, but they didn't build anything.
You need to read the question that the people will know what you're
Oh,
what your
sorry.
response. Yeah.
No, I just answered. She's
Okay.
asking if Hamas didn't steal the money, Palestinians could build and have agriculture land. Yeah, I mean, if you look at Palestine right now, they're not rebuilding anything, and the people they were on strike, all the Palestinians right now against their government. If you saw it, they were going
Maybe
after.
maybe our next video, we will speak about the Palestinian issue in the Middle East. We will try to learn it and to bring fact, because I think that there is like a very misunderstanding about what is Palestinians, because while I was working on my first album, I just learned history in the university. I took a couple of courses, And one of the things that was shocked me was that a lot of the people that call themselves Palestinians, they came from different countries as Lebanon, Iraq, Sudan.
Greece.
Yeah, yeah,
The origin is from Greece.
a lot of people. They came after the Jewish start to come from Europe. They came to work for them, for the Jewish people. So I won't speak a lot more about it. I think that our next video will, maybe we will speak about it, but there is like a lot of misunderstanding here about what's happened. Because most of the people, when they see the situation right now, they think that, you know, that the Jewish people had a strong army and they took control. They came from Europe and took control on the land of the Palestinian. And this is not the truth. The truth was that uh, the Arab and the Jewish people used to live here together after the Jewish people started to come back. And of course, there was Arabic people here in Israel. I'm not saying that it is not true, but the story is different than what people think. And the Israeli army was really weak. So maybe we will speak about it um, in our next video.
And that's something I learned the last year or so more about Israel, because what we learned in Lebanon regarding Israel, Israel came and she claimed this is their country. They took it away from the Palestinian, where Palestinians were living there, and that's what we always heard about, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, I wanted to know for myself, and honestly, I was more the last 2 years. I start more reading on my own research, and that kind of blew my mind actually about the history of this whole conflict there. Definitely have to talk about it, you know, one of those videos.
Yeah, Michelle said that Yasser Arafat was the leader of the Palestinian in Gaza, in the West Bank. Actually, in Gaza too, it was united before. So she said that he came from Egypt. It's not true. He
Yeah,
came from Tunisia, and because this is where he came from.
Tunis and Egypt is not too far from each other, so you never know if you have some root of Egyptian, you know.
Yeah. But yeah, a lot of Palestinians came from different countries. You know, the deep conflict here is, does different, and it's really connected for what happening in Lebanon. The deep question here and the big conflict is, does the Muslim countries will allowed to different religion to be in the Middle East? This is the deep story here, because you see it in Lebanon against the Christian, you see it in Israel against the Jewish people, and we know actually when we prepared this video, we saw that until when the Christian lead in Lebanon, so there was until I think 73, there were still communities of Jewish in Lebanon, Jewish
Yeah,
communities in
we had
Lebanon.
synagogues in Lebanon.
Yeah, so the question here is not about politics. That's what I feel. It's about religion war, and that's something that not a lot of people know. That you know, all the things about Jerusalem, and a lot of things that I can say, but I don't think that we have time because we are speaking for almost an hour and a half.
Oh my gosh,
Um,
I didn't feel that time.
what?
I didn't feel it.
Me too.
Um,
Um,
it's
so
it's good to see some Lebanese on the live. I love that, you know. My people.
okay, so Michelle said that Yasser Arafat born in Egypt and then he left to Tunisia. That's what I think she said. Okay, thank you for this information,
You
Michelle.
look Egyptian, honestly, the way you look.
Uh, let's see. So if you have another question, so let us know. If not, please share this video. We will do something like this again. Our goal is like to speak about the conflict from, we are trying to, to talk about the fact that we learned before we start this live, and before the next live we will learn again, and we will bring you
Yeah.
the fact that we know from the things that we learn and from the our experience. We're not historian professors, I don't know.
We're
uh,
now historic geeks, you know?
but it's not the things here. The things here is about, you have two people here with a very deep experience and a lot of things that we know, because I'm still here in the Middle East, and
I
Karim
know.
born there. So
Look, I have questions here.
okay.
When do you think you'll be able to return to Lebanon, Korean? Honestly, right now, I cannot go back unless if I want to be stupid, I can go back and be in trouble because my names is probably over there. There's some stuff happen. I know they were just yeah, they're just maybe looking, not maybe, they are looking for me. I mean, I'm here right now, but it's I we have to be wise. I cannot go back, but I know there will be time I can go back for sure one day. But right now we have to focus on how we can build a better future for Lebanon, and if that's gonna be for us to start being better with our neighbors, hey, why not? You know, we want to take that step of peace. But anyway, what is that about Lebanon song? Beirut song. Someone asked about Beirut song. Uh, where
So
was it there? Where did oh, someone asked how okay, how did he know before this is a Lebanese guy. He said he knows you. He knows you before he know me. Also, but strange enough, I knew Yair from before. How Al Murani, how did you know Yair before? I would like to hear that. He said he know you before he known me, bro. This is awesome.
yeah, there's a lot of Lebanese here in Israel. Maybe
Yeah. No, he's not in Israel.
oh.
Where are you from, Morani? And where did when and then when did your Beirut Korean the Beirut song? Beirut song, I wrote it when the explosion happened. When the explosion happened, I was literally freezed. Yeah, you know, like I was not myself. I took that time instead of like, you know, just I was trying to help Lebanon doing fundraiser, but at the same time I really felt to put my heart and emotion as pray other than praying. I put it into a song to lift up Lebanon and as a prayer for Beirut, which is the capital. Usually, you know, the capital is what represents even the country. So I wrote it at that time. It was in August 2020, in the time of the explosion and devastation of Lebanon. So yep, all times here in Jewish Messianic song. Oh, he's Christian. Okay, songs. I live now in Europe from 2015. So he looked for you know, for
Yeah,
people like Jewish people.
I made couple of song with the Messianic Jew, but actually I'm not a Messianic. Uh,
Which one?
what
Which song?
with Joshua Aaron?
Oh, you mean home?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so,
but he said, when was it? If he known you before me, meaning that because you just released the song home.
yeah, but the Refana was shared in a lot of Messianic and Christian pages. So there is people that think that but I have to say about this thing. I'm trying to tell it all the time. My goal as a Jew is like to an Israeli and a Jew is to connect, anyone, and to build uh, this relationship with all the people that I can. So in Israel, a lot of people don't want to collaborate with Messianic Jews
Mhm.
because they are afraid that it's like part of the mission and on those kind of things. Uh, um, but from my perspective, the only way, if you want to live um, a life and you believe in yourself, in what you believe, the only way that you can live those kind of happy lives is if you don't afraid to collaborate with others, even
Yeah.
if you don't agree with them. And I'm sure, and I know because we spoke a lot, me and you, that we are not agreed about everything, but
Yeah.
but I believe that we need to focus on the thing that we agree. And I'm
And
not.
we accept each other, and our friendship is not built on our the things that, like our the things that we don't agree on. Our friendship is built on the things that we have in common and that we're focusing on, both of us.
And this is what, and this is the only way that you can build something, because look how many things we have in common.
Yeah.
But most of the people, when you will see,
Both have curly hair. No.
most of the people that when they see like those two flags of Lebanon and Israel, they are waiting to see a video about fighting and about, I will tell you that you're wrong and you will tell me that I'm wrong. Like
I
they're
hate
waiting for
arguing,
this
man.
kind of video, but we want to show you that it can be different. So the same thing, it's what happened to me with Joshua Aaron and with the song Rafana, that for me Muslim shared it, Christian, evangelicals,
Yeah.
Messianic Jew, a lot of people share it all over the world. For me it was amazing and I was really happy.
I
uh,
like when you sing it in the hospital, and I saw the Muslim people with their hijab and they were listening to, I was like, that was when I saw that. And when you do it in Arabic with your friend, I don't know what's his name, that really touched me, and it
He's a
was
very
beautiful.
he's a very famous Muslim singer in
Yeah,
Israel,
I really like that. It was beautiful.
and it was with the um, um, orchestra, Arabic orchestra,
Yeah,
that combined between half of them are Jewish and half Arabic.
that's so
And
beautiful.
we went to an hospital and we just pray for healing.
And
Uh,
guys, that was in the midst of the war that happened between the Hamas and Israel. That's when he actually, you guys have to go watch it. It's so beautiful.
all right, so I think we will finish because now we just passed the hour and a half. We will do it again. If you like this video and you want to hear more, so please write us in a comment, not only in the chat, in the comments of the
Yeah.
of the video. If you like it, we need to know that we don't know. We can't know if you want write for us. So please write what you think, and if you think that we need to change something, and if you have any ideas for us, please write in the comments of the video. Please help us and share this video. It's
And
really,
correct us if we said something wrong,
yeah,
correct us. We have
exactly.
no problem to correct us.
We have
Again, we are
no
not
ego.
history.
Yeah,
Our main power thing that we have, me and Yair, is we have a heart that who love the human people, and whoever, wherever they are, whatever their color or race or religion, or this is our heart. We're coming beyond our hate, the hate of our government, just to show a unity that we human, we can do it, together. So correct us with anything information that we gave too. We have no problem.
yeah, exactly. So thank you, Karin, and thank
Thank
you
you,
for all the
brother.
people that what?
Thank you, brother. I always call him brother. I just see him as a brother, so a friend and a brother.
Thank you, Karin. So thank you for all the people that watched us. Um, and again, if you have any suggestion for us, write in the comments of the video. Please share. And the last thing that I want to say that I forgot. So maybe it's good. I don't know. Maybe
Let me tell Al Morani, the
I
nice
just,
guy.
I
Oh,
just want to say, I just wanted to say the last thing, and then we
yeah,
finish. I'm sorry, we don't have time for more question.
yeah, yeah.
But the last thing that I wanted to say, that we are planning to do event in America and USA. So feel free to connect me and Karin, and it's going to be not only talking like today, it's going to be with singing and talking with the both language, Arabic and Hebrew and English. So if you want to connect us, feel free to connect. If you want to invite us, So feel free to connect me or Carine. We love you. Thank you, Carine.
All right, guys. Thank you so
Good
much.
night
Thank you so
from
much.
Israel and good day.
Good day for me. I'll move forward with my day.
All right.
All right, guys. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.